So many things left to hold on to that tie me down. Something old is giving me a warning. Ancient dream, apocalyptical prophecy of a coming time when the earth will tremble with a fever and a chill. Yes, it will. I have had the good graces to meet a few friends who I can turn to in my dark house. And I wonder if they see just what they mean to me, those shining flowers in God's garden. I'm trying to spread my love day by day, but it's hard to stay that open-hearted way. We all need love to see us through the cold and lonely nights. We're all destined to fly the same soaring heights. Sometimes I fool myself into thinking that I've got nothing left to offer here. That's when I try to be a little kinder to myself and the world all around. Why can't we just love one another the way we should? As sisters and brothers, help along the way back home. We're all going home.
We are Unitarian Universalists. We are people of many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. Every day, people are inundated with information, overwhelmed by demands, and pulled by a culture that seeks to divide us from the web of life. Unitarian Universalism reconnects, bringing people together with meaning and inspiration. We are a house without walls, a congregation without spiritual limits, and a movement that calls you to put more faith in yourself, your community, and your beliefs. We are a faith that honors your mind, your heart, your journey. Simply put, we are a guided path towards a better you and a better world. Grounded in hundreds of years of thoughtful, religious communities, we are people of many generations, ethnicities, genders and sexualities, and spiritual backgrounds. People engaged in making the world a better place. People focusing on what really matters: love, justice, integrity, and hope. Unitarian Universalists have different beliefs, but shared values. We are Unitarian Universalists, and at the same time, we may also be agnostic, Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, humanist, Jewish, Muslim, pagan, atheist, believers in God, and those who let the great mystery be. The diversity of beliefs you'll find in a Unitarian Universalist community is one of our strengths. We're always learning how to see the world from a different perspective. What unites us are our core principles that uphold 7 real-world values: believing in the worthiness of every person, showing compassion and fairness, accepting others for who they are, growing through a personal search for truth, leading with democratic spirit, working for justice, and understanding that everything is interconnected. 7 days a week, Unitarian Universalists live these principles by doing. When we gather, we worship, reflect, and remind ourselves what matters most in life. Whatever our age, we learn to live with more wisdom, more awareness, more gratitude, and more soul. We show our values by showing up to answer the call for social justice. We have a track record of standing on the side of love for civil rights, LGBTQ equality, immigration reform, environmental sustainability, reproductive justice, racial justice, and more. Find what it means to live your deepest values out loud. Join us on this extraordinary adventure of faith.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these vibes. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time.
Good morning. Welcome to this virtual gathering of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Shreveport. I'm really glad you're here. I would love to know how you're doing and how those you care about are doing. So if you feel like dropping us a line, that'd be a wonderful thing. In this congregation, whether we're able to meet in person or not, we come together from scattered places across the country. You and your precious uniqueness, whatever your integrity calls you to be, are welcome here. No matter what your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, this community is built on covenant rather than creed. We don't have to think alike in order to put value on things that matter, like compassion and justice, and trying to grow in understanding and ways to come together. We come together to elevate and contemplate matters of worth. Those are many. There are things we're concerned about, and we hope that in this hour we find just a little bit of space to catch a breath, to drop your shoulders away from your ears, to think about a bigger picture in which light and compassion and hope are absolutely justifiable and believable and attainable. So, as we start to move into our service, we want to remind you that one of our principles is the right of the individual to vote, and we want to encourage you to do that, and I'm hoping Miss Susan will talk some about some of those things as we get to her. So relax a bit, and we'll see you in a minute.
Hey, and so this is, I'm Bennett Upton. I'm the board president here. And before you get too relaxed, I do want to remind you that, these times are financially uncertain for a lot of folks. If they are not so financially uncertain for you, well, they kind of are for our church. So if you can, then there's a donation link that frequently shows up in the comments on the Facebook feed. And also wanted to remind you that, if you don't have anything to do after the service, you can just stop by the coffee hour that we have, and there'll be a few of us hanging out in there, chatting about what happened in the service or whatever. It's coffee hour, chat about whatever. And then at 1 o'clock today, I'm doing the new UU. So if you'd like to join us for the new UU, it's an introduction to Unitarian Universalism, which is it's a large and deep faith. There is a lot to it. There's a lot to know if you want to explore further. It's difficult to just kind of pick it up from watching a service or two. So if you're new here, then maybe it's a good idea to check it out and see what we're all about. But also, if you've been around for a long time, it's a changing and evolving faith, and you may be missing out on some things that have changed over the last few years. So whoever you are, you're welcome to stop by and join us for the new UU. It's going to be good. It's going to be 6 sessions. It's 1 o'clock. If you haven't received an invite to it and you think that you probably should have, then check your junk mailbox. My emails, I think, tend to end up in the junk mail because I sent weird emails to weird people. And if not, otherwise, you can also just make a comment in the Facebook feed, and I will try and send you. I will pass you the link. So just let me know, and I'm going to hand things over to Susan. Thanks.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. It's really great that you're here. So a few things I did want to mention this morning. First of all, as Reverend Barbara mentioned, Together Louisiana, we have joined with them to kind of multiply our efforts. And one of the things we're doing is a nonpartisan grassroots voter turnout movement. And we're doing that by way of block captains. Block captains will be responsible for about 10 households. It's maybe a couple hours of work a week, maybe a little less. And I know a number of our folks have already signed up. There's a link in the comments where you can go to togetherla.org and learn more about signing up to be a block captain. I want to thank everybody who was on our phone bank yesterday, our Zoom phone bank. It's the closest thing to being in a room together with pizza to kind of encourage you to, to make those calls. And it's always exciting. And I'll just tell you, I say this every week, I hate talking on the phone. I hate worse than that, making cold calls. And this has been a really positive experience for me. Every human being I've actually reached, because you're always going to reach bad numbers and leave messages and stuff. Every human being I have reached has been nice to me, not just civil, but actually nice. And so that's been a great experience. We will have family religious education today at 1 p.m. Although if you have only the one device to do Zoom in your household and you are interested in doing the new UU, we can maybe talk about adjusting our family RE time for during this time. So reach out to me either in the comments or you can email me, and I'm sure my email can show up in the comments as well. And we can work on adjusting, being flexible with that schedule for the time, because the new UU is a great class, and I encourage adults who haven't had it, whether you are new or not, to take that. Bennett does a great job, and it's a good class. We have a volunteer of the month who's actually a volunteer for the rest of this month and the whole month of October. And we want to thank Brittany Turner, who really jumped in with both feet when she was brand new to the church, when she joined the church and then this pandemic breaks out, which was not causal or related at all. But she just absolutely jumped in to help us with our technology. And she's the one, a lot of times she's the one doing the slides. Barbara and I have been venturing into that a little bit, but she does most of that, finds these beautiful images, makes things run so much more smoothly than we would do if we were doing this ourselves. And so I want to say thank you to Brittany. We usually confer a special parking place right by the building. Obviously, like I told her last week, you could go park there anytime and that would be fine, but we actually have a little something that will be coming your way that's more of a little bit more of a tangible reward in this time of virtual church. But we thank Brittany. And Brittany, if you want to show your face for just a second, we would we would love to see you, but I'm not going to put you on the spot. You don't have to if you don't want to. But
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it.
We thank you. We thank you with all our hearts, honestly. Highland Center Ministries is our giveaway the plate, and that link will also be in the in the comments. And so we are a partner with them, that we do the Highland Blessing Dinner, which is now 2 days a week, and they are feeding 250 people every time. So there are a lot of hungry people. As Bennett mentioned earlier, times are stretched financially right now for a lot of people. And so we can use your help Tuesday and Thursday at the Highland Center from 4 to 6. They also need volunteers in the clothes closet, which is Thursday from noon to 4. If anybody has that time available and would like to help out with that. I think, next week is Blessing of the Animals. If you would like to be in the Zoom with us, with your pets, get in touch with me. We would love to introduce your pet to the All Souls world. It'll be a little bit different, but some people have said this is the only way their pet could attend Blessing of the Animals. So in some ways, it's more inclusive doing it this way. And so we look forward to that next week, and I will turn it back over to Barbara.
And Ms. Susan will put how to be in contact with her in the chat. We look forward to Blessing of the Animals every year, so I hope you'll, pull your pet's willingness up and chase it around with a camera or something and join us next week. We're approaching our time of worship, and what we invite you to do is bring the matters that you hold of worth. Spend some time thinking about them and opening yourself up to new ideas about how to deal with all of these concerns in the world. How we might do it in community, because there's so much power there. And let us enter a spirit of worship. Spirit of life in which we live and move and have our being. From that deep mystery we have arisen, though never to utter separation. Still autonomous and willful, we find ourselves dependent on so many things beyond our control. May we find here the courage to manage with righteousness those things which are within our influence. As alone and isolated as we sometimes experience ourselves to be, we nevertheless have the capacity to live within that wonder, touched by what we cannot define. By that presence we are guided. Here we are reminded that we never have to be alone. We awaken one ray of understanding at a time to the support that is ever available from that in life which heals and holds us. Through the comfort and the chaos, through the hope and the horror, may all of our days, whether pleasant or painful, be adequately seasoned with beauty and awe, compassion and grace. May we return to our very essence again and again, nearer with each turning to the simple perfection that is our core, the at-one-ment, the atonement, that is the peace beyond understanding. These words come from Orlando Brugnola. As we move through life finding ourselves always newly wise and newly foolish, we ask that our mistakes be small and not hurtful. We ask that as we gain experience, we do not forget our innocence, for they are both part of the whole. I would like to invite the Lawrences this morning to help us with the first part of our chalice lighting.
Good morning.
Morning.
We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart.
Thank you so much. From Vanessa Southern, we light our chalice, symbol of our faith, for truth sought through a questioning heart and an attentive mind, and for love pursued through obstacles inside and outside of our own human heart, and for forgiveness and all it entails, the place where truth and love meet and merge. From Douglas John Traversa, in a world filled with the darkness of ignorance, let us bring the light of reason. In a world filled with the darkness of despair, may we share the light of hope. In a world filled with the darkness of hate, let us shine the light of love. And someone else in the Lawrence Allen household will lead us now in the unison affirmation.
Hello, this is John Allen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Thank you, John. I would like to invite you to sing along with the video. The lyrics are on it. I hope for a lot of you this song is familiar.
Gather the Spirit, darkness abound. Our separate lives will kindle one flame. Witness the
and good morning again. In this time of the observance of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement in the Jewish tradition, I'd like to tell you a story from the Hebrew Testament that is told at this time of year, and it's the story of Jonah. Many of you have probably heard the story before, but maybe not today. Jonah was a good man who loved God, though from time to time he got a little cranky and thought that he knew more than God. And this is a story about one of those times. One day when Jonah was at home, God dropped in for a visit. "Hey, Jonah, how's it going?" asked God. And Jonah was startled. "Hey there, God, you shouldn't sneak up on a person like that." "I wasn't sneaking," said God. "I'm always here. You just aren't always paying attention. I'm here because I want you to do something for me." "Okay, sure, I guess." "What?" asked Jonah. "Well, Jonah," the supreme being began, "I want you to go to Nineveh. I'm worried about the people there. They've been behaving really badly. Tell them they need to remember to follow my ways." Jonah had his doubts, but he wouldn't say that to God. "Okay, I'll get right on it. Nineveh, got it." And God was pleased. "Good, Jonah, I knew I could count on you." But Jonah was feeling a little scared and a little lazy, so instead of heading out to Nineveh, he decided to run away in the opposite direction. He met up with some sailors getting ready to sail their boat to a place called Tarshish, and he asked if he could go with them. Once he was on board with the sailors, he was tired from all of that running, and he went downstairs to go to sleep. But once the boat was out on the ocean, a very strange thing happened. The sea that had been very calm up until then now had giant rolling waves. There was a horrible storm. And one of the sailors said to the captain, "Captain, what's happening? Where did the storm come from?" And the captain said, "I have no idea, but where's that new guy, Jonah?" Because the weather was fine before he got on board. Okay. Sorry. Short break. And one of the sailors says, "Now that you mention it, he did say he was running away from God. That can't be good. Last time I saw him, he was downstairs sleeping. Well, let's get him up here." And they called down below, "Yo, Jonah, wake up, get up here." Jonah stumbled out onto the deck very sleepily. He said, "What's happening?" And about that time, the boat lurched and he almost fell over. And one of the sailors said, "You tell us, Jonah, didn't you tell me you were running away from God? Because that never really works out, right?" And Jonah said, "I know, and I'm the reason you're all in danger. You need to throw me overboard." "Whoa, guy, we're not going to do that," says one of the sailors. But about that time, the boat lurched particularly violently. And another sailor said, "On the other hand, he might have a point." And the captain says, "Yeah, sorry, old boy, we're totally tossing you." And Jonah said, "No, it's all good. I understand." And so the sailors said, "God, please forgive us," as they tossed Jonah overboard. But as soon as they tossed him into the water, the seas got calm again, and the sailors thanked God and prayed that Jonah would be safe. But the struggle was not over for Jonah. For no sooner had he been tossed into the water than he was swallowed up by a big fish, sent by God to give him a little time to think. And inside the fish, he prayed, "Oh, dear God, let me tell you, it is really stinky in here. It's been 3 days, and I truly understand that I must never run away from you or disobey your word again. And if I ever get out of this fish, I promise I'll do right. I promise." And right then the fish threw up and out came Jonah. I know that's gross, but that's what happened. And Jonah said, "Thanks be to God. I promise now I'm really going to Nineveh." And God said, "What a good idea. I wish I'd thought of it." And so when Jonah arrived in Nineveh, he found that people really were acting terribly, fighting, treating each other harshly, stealing from each other, and all kinds of evil things. And he said, "People of Nineveh, hear me now. I'm a messenger from the Lord your God. If you do not turn away from your sinful ways, God will destroy Nineveh in 40 days. And they all said, "Oh no, please God, don't destroy us. We believe Jonah. We've learned our lesson. Yeah, we're so sorry for all the horrible things we've done. God, forgive us." And God did forgive the people of Nineveh, and everyone was very happy, everyone except Jonah. He was angry at the people of Nineveh. He was angry at himself, and he built himself a booth on a hill outside of Nineveh, and he sat down in the booth to whine about it. And he sat there for several days, and it was very hot. And so after a while, God made a vine grow up and provide shade for Jonah. And Jonah said, God, why would you forgive me or the people of Nineveh? We're all evil and no good. You should have destroyed the city. You should have let me die in the ocean. And then God made the vine shrivel up and go away, and let Jonah sit there and think about it a while longer. And now it was really hot. And Jonah said, oh no, I can't believe that stupid vine just died. That vine was keeping me cool while I sit here mad at everybody. God, what are you trying to do? And God said, Jonah, 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 you care so much about that vine, but you did nothing to grow it. It grew in a day and it died in a day. Why would you care? If you can care so much for that vine, why wouldn't I care for a city that I've built and watched over for years, or for you? Why would anything bad that you ever do keep you from my love? Forgiveness, Jonah. That's what it's all about. And as Unitarian Universalists, that's a bedrock of our faith that comes from our Jewish and our Christian roots in the Universalist tradition, that we cannot be separated from love and forgiveness. And that is the lesson I hope you can take with you today. Thank you.
Good morning. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position, your body balanced, your spine straight. Begin with a deep, comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space, and imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. Now, in your mind's eye, see yourself walking on the long and winding pathway of your life's journey. It is late and you are weary, and you've been carrying a heavy burden, a bundle of sticks and branches that represent all the things in life that no longer serve you. As you make the next turn in the path, you find yourself approaching an open field where a large bonfire is burning. Surrounding this welcoming fire is a circle of people you recognize, friends and dear ones of your beloved community. As you join the circle, you learn this fire is a special gift for those who travel life's pathway, an opportunity to release one's burdens, the bright wisdom to see clearly, the warmth of kindness and compassion. You set your burden down and select what represents old, painful memories. Say to yourself, I have kept the lessons from these times. I no longer need the burden. I cast them into the fire of wisdom and kindness. I let them go. I embrace new freedom. And now the judgments that separate you from yourself and others. Say, I keep discernment and no longer need separation. I cast these judgments into the fire of spirit. I let them go. I embrace clear vision. And now, fears of the future. I trust my heart's wisdom here and now in this moment. I no longer need guidance from fear. I cast fear into the fire of wisdom. I let it go. I embrace peace. Find all that is heavy within you. Release and let go. With each release, the light brightens, the heart warms, and the interconnection with community strengthens. In these moments of silent contemplation, reflect. All that is not needed on my journey, I now trust to the warm and bright spirit that lives and moves in all beings, all times, and all places. In this moment, I am whole. In this moment, I am complete.
So the title for this morning is Gather the Spirit. And what I'm trying to do is pull together a number of ideas that I'm going to kind of ask a question, but I'll give you the answer right off the bat, and then I'll explain kind of what my answer means. So what do Unitarian Universalist identity, which is the pillar that we're just now coming into in our church study year, what do Unitarian Universalist identity, the Jewish High Holy Days, for which today is Yom Kippur, it's the 10th of the High Holy Days, and the High Holy Days will end today at sunset. But so what do Unitarian Universalist identity, the Jewish High Holy Days, and the concept of Trinity, as in the Christian church, have in common? I'll give you the answer right off the bat. It's relationship. What Unitarian Universalist identity, the Jewish High Holy Days, and the concept of Trinity have in common is that they are all about relationship. Last week, for honoring a little bit late, Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, we also did our annual water communion, which is a representative ritual of our coming back together. And even though that is so hard to sense when we are divided by necessity and things beyond our control, we also did the apples and honey stuff, or invited people to participate in that show the potential for sweetness in the coming year, regardless of how dark things look. Our annual ritual that we did in here during the service is called water communion, And we symbolize our coming back together by bringing water from the different places we may have been in the summer, even if that's our own backyard, and pouring it together into water that is then boiled and filtered and used for later rituals, and merged with water from previous years so that it's an ongoing tradition. And this year we invited people to do it virtually on Zoom with us, or to bring water by the church and drop it off with a note about what they wanted it to represent. But all of that was about community. And then Yom Kippur, at the end of the Jewish High Holy Days, is about repentance and atonement. The word for repentance, or teshuvah, implies that there's been a consequence of getting away from that which is greater, away from God, the unnameable, that which is indescribable, but somehow becoming separate from those essential underlying energies that are a part of life, getting right with life, so that the Jewish people's names can once again be inscribed in the book of life, which is open for the High Holy Days. And it's a time during which they can do repentance, reflecting on anything that they may have done that was injurious to someone else, or maybe even to themselves. Typically on this Sunday, we would have a burning ceremony. We would invite people to write down things that they need to forgive other people for, or maybe even themselves, or things that they have done the work to try to reconcile with others, and put the paper into a fire so that it can be released. This year, with fires raging in California, and fires raging politically, and fires raging with the pandemic, it seemed a little inappropriate to have a burning ceremony. And so what I thought about was another way we might do that, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But the repairs that we are making are in the Jewish tradition, between self, my relationship with myself, and what has separated me from the goodness and sweetness of life. My own burdens, my own heaviness, my own disappointments in myself. My separation from my siblings, my brothers, sisters, and siblings, the things that have gotten in the way because my behavior was less than I recognize it should have been. And the things that separate me from the web of life. So what separates me from myself, what separates me from those around me, and what separates me from that vastness that I will call other. There's a Unitarian minister in Spokane who did a sermon on the UU Trinity, Unitarian Universalist Trinity, and he said that for Unitarian Universalists, the Trinity is self, others, and the earth. So if we talk about the other as being the interconnected web, we can relate that to the earth, we can relate that to the universe, we can relate that to the unanswerable questions. And then there's historically stuff about a Unitarian Trinity. So in Jewish tradition, it's self, others, and God, in what Reverend Dr. Todd Eckloff of Spokane called the Trinity, the Unitarian Universalist Trinity. It's self, others, and the earth. There's an historic Unitarian, not UU, but Unitarian trinity of freedom, reason, and tolerance. Freedom, I would equate with something bigger. Reason, I would equate with our relationship with ourselves, our integrity. And tolerance, I would equate to our relationship with other people. Now, in our Unitarian Universalist principles, we have a trinity of justice, equity, and compassion. It's a little bit harder to fit those together for me, because all three of them relate to all three. And I think that's moving more in the direction we are kind of evolving into, where things aren't so isolated and black and white and separate, but they are actually coexistent often. And it's incumbent upon us to try to find that spark in the darkest of places and bring our light from those to whatever we can shine on those places, but with love and compassion. For Unitarian Universalists, to be holy means to be whole, to be one with ourselves, to be one with all people, and to be one with the earth or the other, all wrapped in that from which life has sprung. The spirit of life in which we live and move and have our being, the spirit of life that moves in us and among us. We are ever learning how literally that we are all connected. Father Richard Rohr, a Catholic priest that you hear me quote with some regularity, talks about his version of understanding the Christian Trinity. It says that in a lot of ways, what they did in the Christian tradition was tell you, this is true, God is three, God is one, don't think about it, just accept it. He's come up with a new understanding that he's disseminating in some really big ways of that Trinity being not three things that are separate or one thing that you can't explain, but a very accessible image of a water wheel, where it's a perpetual emptying out of each into the other and being refilled by the others. He also puts humankind in that relationship. So the whole idea of Trinity is relationship. The whole idea of whatever we can't understand and how we get along in this world, how effective we are in this world, whether we are generating and magnifying the possibilities of compassion and reason, or whether we're letting the things that we are afraid of, or the bitterness we might carry, or the disappointment or shame that we might feel, if we're letting any of that separate us from the goodness and the essence that are there to tap, to bring with us to all of the challenges, to bring with us to the seriousness of hope, then we're weakening our capacity to be influential in the world. I have recently adapted a new icon for my understanding of this Trinity, of my relationship with myself, my relationship with others, and my relationship with that which is greater, kind of Richard Rohr's water wheel vision, and it's one of these. How many of you are familiar with this? This is an adapter from ancient times that went in the middle of what were called 45 RPM records to make them fit on the spindle so that they wouldn't just move around when you tried to play them. The spindle was a very narrow thing, and the records had a big hole in them. why they did all that, who knows? But you had to have an adapter to make the things work, and this was one of the most common. What I see here is the water wheel. The three prongs kind of emptying out and circling through one another. And at the center is the space for possibility. In the center is what each of us brings. In the center is what we don't know and can't describe and can sometimes touch. But it will always be something that we can move closer to. It will always be something that we can grow deeper in. It will always bring something that we can bring into community, that we can bring into relationship. I'm fond of this symbol. So I told you that later on in the service, I would be talking about another way that we can do our ritual. For Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year that happened 10 days ago and which we kind of celebrated last Sunday, there's a ritual in the Jewish tradition of casting things into the sea for release. So instead of doing a burning ceremony this year, I thought all of us have around our houses something that functions a little bit less effectively than dissolving paper, but is made ready for going to the sea in some process that we might ride on. Put where the waters will go to the sea eventually, and wash it away. I think it might even be a fun ritual for families. If that doesn't really appeal to you, and I can understand why some people might have reservations about that, you can still do a burning ritual. You can still write down the things you need to release. Find a flame and very carefully burn them, release them. Let the burdens go. Along this way, it's helpful to make lists. There's a rabbi who recommended the 3 lists, that one be of people he needs to call to tell them that he loves them and how important they are to him. Another list was dedicated to those who he needs to call and reconnect with, the people that he's lost touch with and needs to reach out to again. And the third list, the most challenging, includes people who he's wronged, people he needs to call and ask for forgiveness. As part of our traditional Yom Kippur honoring, we do a litany that's done with accompaniment of lovely piano music, and we're not going to do it today. But the refrain, the part that we sing each time in response to going through the things we forgive ourselves and each other for, is, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Write it down. Release it. Do something that's actual to make palpable your letting go of something so that you can feel it with your whole being and not just think about it. Oops. I want to share a song with you. Things get too crowded and I get crazy. Things get too cluttered and I can't see. I have a moral obligation to take good care of me. Got a little bit of room to move, got a little bit of air to breathe, got a little bit of time to notice. There's been a little change in me, darling. It's a time for breaking free. Hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're putting the rocks down. Got a little piece of land to tend, got a little money I can spend, got these notes I need to send. Do you remember when, darling, we're living history? Hurry, hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're plopping, dropping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. We carry so many things we're not meant to bear. My worries are only fresh despair. Lighten my perspective, and while I still care, I get a lot more done and do it with savoir-faire. Up and slow down. We're dropping, plopping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. Gave away what I didn't need. Let my inner artist go to seed. Found I'm much more able to be all that life was really asking me, darling. Would you like some company? Hurry, hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're plopping, dropping, sitting, setting, letting, laying, putting the rocks down. Hurry, hurry up and slow down. We're putting the rocks down. In the season of turning and returning, we gather the Spirit. We gather together the pieces that we've let get away from us. We work to reconnect with community. We work to reconnect with ourselves. We work to reconnect with everything that leads us into mystery and hope. These words are from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There's some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we're less prone to hate our enemies. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. As we prepare to go out from this gathered space, I want to leave you with these words from John O'Donohue. May you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be large enough for the dreams of your soul. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing whispering in your heart that something good is going to happen to you. One of us did that a lot recently. May you find harmony between your soul and your life. May the mansion of your soul never become a haunted place. May you know the eternal longing which lives at the heart of time. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May your angel free you from the prisons of guilt, fear, disappointment, and despair. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you, mind you, and embrace you in belonging. Love yourself home. Be gentle with the turning and returning. Too often people try to change their lives by using the will as a kind of hammer to beat their lives into shape. If you work with a different rhythm, you will come easily and naturally home to yourself. Your soul knows the geography of your destiny. Your soul alone has the map of your future. Therefore, you can trust this indirect, oblique side of yourself. If you do, it will take you where you need to go. Get rid of things. Go in peace. And we'll see you again soon. Amen. So be it. Blessed be. Ashe.
Gonna keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Gonna keep on walking forward. Never turning back. Never keep on laughing freely. Keep on laughing freely. Gonna keep on laughing freely. Never turning back. Never turning back. Keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on. Gonna keep on walking forward. Keep on walking forward. Gonna keep on walking